I was watching a YouTube video, not mine own, of how to look good on a Zoom meeting. So I thought, well, I'll look at this because I do all these Zooms. And it didn't mention lose 2 stone, not once, but it did say the best thing is to be in front of an open window, which I have. And actually, I look frightful. So I'm going to let the blind down. I think I look marginally better, don't you? However, she did say to raise the computer up, which I have. I'm supposed to be above the camera, but I can't do that. That's if you're sitting down and I'm standing up and wandering around the kitchen. So I think this is the best I can do. So I've done it. So this is me doing my best ever Zoom recording. And we're going to make oat creams today. How excited are you? I'm getting very brave at doing all this without the camera crew in attendance. So today he's playing jigsaws, so he can't be here on a Thursday afternoon because he does jigsaws. So I'm doing this all by myself. How brave am I? And I think I can do it, so we'll have a go. But actually the camera crew has let him down this morning quite badly because he put a baking utensil, i.e. the scraper from bread making this morning, he put it into the cooking utensil pot. So what can you do? As Julie and I said, you can't get the staff. So he's kind of on borrowed time, to be perfectly honest. But let's move across and we'll do oat creams. Now, oat creams are biscuits which are extremely popular with my children and my grandchildren, and hopefully will be with your children, grandchildren, husbands, whatever. They will work, I'm certain, very well with what's the stuff? Non-gluten, gluten-free. Sorry, I don't know what's the matter with my words. Gluten-free flour. I think they work brilliantly because they're sort of like biscuits, and the biscuits worked well with gluten-free flour, so I see no reason why they shouldn't. I've just realised I haven't got my syrup here, so I'm just going to dash. I have all my ingredients weighed out like a good girl, as you can see in my pots here. And first of all, we're going to have sugar and margarine creamed together. 4 ounces of margarine and 2 ounces of sugar. Now, when I took them down to my children and grandchildren in Cirencester the other day, I made these because one of their favourites. And I actually forgot this, and I made them with caster sugar, which you can make them any old sugar you like. But they're crunchy biscuits, and I think Demerara sugar lends itself to making these. So today I'm going to make them with Demerara sugar, and I'm going to cream these two together before I beat in a tablespoonful of syrup. And I buy this squeezy syrup simply because if you're using it to measure into a recipe, it's much easier than a tin. I always used to buy, you know, good old Tate Miles tin out of the strong cane full sweetness and all that jazz. But this is much easier. So I'm going to beat these first, so forgive the noise. Now you just want to beat that. You're not trying to take loads and loads of air in. We're not making a sponge, we're making biscuits. So as long as it's all well incorporated and beaten together, that's fine. And then you beat in a level tablespoon of syrup. And I haven't got my measuring tablespoon out, but I've got this one, which is just as good because it belonged to my nan. So she never used anything else. She didn't hold any truck with any of these fancy measuring things. She used one of these and a teaspoon out of her canteen of cutlery. Okay. Just had a lovely morning in toaster with my friend, spending far too much money on clothes that I don't really need, but they're lovely, and mostly in a sale, which was really good. Now I'm going to work very hard all afternoon. Then you work in the oats. Now, I think at this point, it's easier to and do this with the oldie faithful wooden spoon, because porridge oats don't really lend themselves to beater. They're better with a spoon, and you've got to work them in. Again, you're not trying to beat air or anything, you've just got to work this mixture in together. So it's a solid old mixture. Right, there we go. That one, and get rid of this one. It was so nice to be out, although we were obviously masked up and only so many people in the shop, but it was actually nice to go out and try some clothes on in a shop, which was rather lovely. And we had a rather chilly lunch at the Bell Plantation, but it's just nice to be out and about, really. Work in the oats. So there's my oats, and here is my wooden spoon. Oh, sorry, camera. And we're just going to stir those into the mixture. Okay. Yeah, that's all incorporated. Then you've got to work into your mixture the flour, bicarbonate of soda, and what's the other thing? Bicarbonate of soda and bicarbonate of soda and baking powder. It's all in there. So again, just stick it in, and you've just got to work that in until you've got it all incorporated into the mixture, which is why, as I say, there's no real point in using a mixer. A wooden spoon is more than adequate. And I've lit the oven already at 180, so that will be warm enough. Be warm and ready for when these are done. I've got to get these done now because I've got a Murphy talk at 4, a Zoom meeting at 5:30 to 6:30, and then a talk by the author John McGregor at 8 o'clock. So busy old afternoon, and somewhere in there I've got to prepare, cook, and eat dinner. So yes, it's a busy time. So that's it. That's the mixture, and as you can see, it's you can work with it. It's a bit sticky, obviously, but you can work with it. So that's what we're now going to do. I'm going to clear a space and show you what to do. Now, this is a very old recipe. I've been making it for years and years. And it says in the recipe, the original recipe, place on greased baking sheets. Now, you know fine well what I've told you to do. When in doubt, cover it in baking parchment. Sorry, I'm drinking my tea. You don't want to risk them sticking, so I have 2 baking sheets covered in baking parchment. I also have rings that I'm taking off, and you take little handfuls of this and you roll it out to make a ball about the size of a, what's that about the size of, do you reckon? Slightly bigger than a walnut, smaller than a ping pong ball. You want it to make, when you flatten them out slightly into a nice circle, you want them to be about that big. How big is that? Let me see. Hold on. There with caller. You want it to be about 2 inches, which is about 6 mil. Just a nice little circle, so that's going to be the size of it. They're not going to spread terribly. So whatever size you make is the size biscuit you're going to have. You can flatten them a bit more, but that's about the size of it. So the main thing is that they'll all be slightly different, but when it comes to matching them up afterwards and sandwiching them together, you can find 2 that match and go, oh, they're about the same size, and put those together. So you just do this, and they don't stick to your hands. They're really good, actually. Some things it says roll together, and you have to flour your hands and faff about. We don't like faffing, do we, girls? So these you just roll in your hands, a little bit of a lump like that. That's a bit, not very much. You'll get to feel the size you're doing and think, oh, that's too much, that's not enough. Roll them out and put them like this. Flatten them just round so you get a nice circle, and that's what you do. So let's see how many it makes. It says it makes, I don't know if it tells you how many it makes. No, it doesn't. It doesn't tell you how many it makes, but I'm going to tell you when I've finished, and then you'll know. With any luck, it'll make an odd number and we get one to each, which I always like. I think I deserve one to each after working so hard. They will spread a little bit, not massively. They will spread a bit, not like those biscuits that you had to, you know, chill to make sure they didn't explode over the oven. These will spread just a little bit, but not enough for you to worry about. Just leave a space between them, but not massive. So, like I've done. Very dark bit of something in there. I don't think what it is, but we'll take it out. No idea what that was. That's gone. Now these, of course, are not diabetically friendly. I do apologise. I can't make everything diabetically friendly. I'll try and get back to those later. Just been out to lunch with a diabetic friend, and you know, we've been very carefully didn't have cake and didn't have chips and stuff like that. So you know, I do understand the problems, but obviously what you have to do is eat one biscuit instead of 3, I guess, because it's got sugar in, and the filling has got sugar in. But you can make these slightly friendlier by not using the filling I'm going to use. You could use, I mean, you could just put jam in, and you could use, you know, something like that. Like there's one tray, 3, 6, 9, 11 on that tray. Okay, depends on the size of your tray. There's 11 I've done in that tray. And here's one I made earlier, another tray. That's 11, so that's 5.5 biscuits, in case you can't count. How rude am I? 5.5 biscuits there, 6 biscuits. I did think that as we used porridge oats in the crumble, if you had to go and buy porridge oats because you don't have them for breakfast every morning, you don't have them in your cupboard, this is another way of using muck, because you might say, blimey neck, I've got a pound of porridge oats here, what the hell am I to do with it? Well, now you know, you make oat creams, and they are delish. And I think, oh, I've got a bit left, which isn't enough for a whole. So what did I say? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's 9 biscuits. And I've got a little bit here. Got all the bits in the bowl. The bits in the bowl, which I'm going to scrape together and make a little tiny one for me. Tiny leftover bit for me. And then if one broke, I might have to sacrifice my one, but they don't usually. So there's a little tiny bit, just a taster for me. Okay, so they pop in to 180 for 15 minutes. As always, I say this every time, bored with it, as always, keep an eye on them. If they look done after 12 minutes, because I don't know your oven, take them out. I didn't scrape that wooden spoon, look at that, there's some mixture there, which I'll have to eat. Oh, and the good news, not only did I get some lovely new clothes this morning, which was wonderful, but my dishwasher was fitted yesterday. Oh, deep joy. Rejoicing in the Tompkins, oh, hello, what's household? It's a slip of the tongue. Rejoicing, we have a working dishwasher. I'm beyond excited, I can't tell you. Matt came yesterday, took the old one away, fitted the new one. We didn't have anything to put in it. We hardly had anything to put in it. And we're getting used to it. It's amazing how different this dishwasher is. For instance, my wooden spoons, sweet, do not go in the holes for cutlery, which is a bit aggravating. But there's a tray on the top that you can put cutlery in, and the wooden spoons don't fit in that either. So that's somewhat aggravating. I think I'll have to just lay them somewhere. I don't quite know how they're going to work, but anyway, they don't work. But everything else looks hunky-dory, and I'm very, very delighted. My nan's spoon doesn't go in. That's another failure. But hey ho, we're getting there slowly but surely, and we're going to, tonight, we're going to fill it up. See, spatulas don't fit in. There's this tray for cutlery on the top, which spatulas don't fit in. I don't think they're designed for people who cook. I wonder what dishwasher Nigella's got. Shall I email her and ask? Right, so that's all gone in the dishwasher. That's such a glorious feeling to put it all in the dishwasher. Well, they have it all piled up here for me to wash up in a minute. Now, to sandwich these together, the suggestion is that you mix together 2 ounces of margarine with 4 ounces of icing sugar to make buttercream, and then you put in 2 tablespoons of chocolate spread, Nutella or whatever. And that's very nice. My grandchildren love that, as does my son. However, there are other things you can do. Now, one very nice thing to do is apricot jam, because apricot jam goes with sort of nutty, oaty things. So you can just do apricot jam. And if you're diabetic-y, I guess you can get some very low sugar apricot jam. And I'm trying to find a recipe. Here we are. Now, this is a sponge filling, which me and my mum used to make, which is 2 ounces of margarine, a teaspoonful of coffee essence, camp coffee. You can still buy it, I still use it. A tablespoon of syrup and a tablespoon of drinking chocolate. And it's a mockery flavour. And I'm going to do that for a change today, just because I can. So that's what I'm going to do next, but I haven't gathered my ingredients. So I'm going to do that. So you can do a chocolate buttercream, and you could do it with cocoa or drinking chocolate. They just suggest chocolate spread. And of course, if you use Nutella, it's a hazelnut spread. So you've got a bit more nuts in it, and it goes really well. Apricot jam would be gorgeous, I think. Love apricot jam. Or this mocha spread. So I'm going to pause this while I get all my ingredients and show you what I've done. Right, I put all my ingredients for the mocha icing in here, and I'm just going to beat it up now. Now, when I was little, and I cooked with my mum, my dad was a teacher, my mum worked full time, but we were really quite hard up. And although my mum worked full time, go away. Oh, what's happening? I don't know. I've got to. Oh, there we are. Although my mum worked for full time, we were really quite hard up. But she baked, always cooked to dinner every night. There were always cakes in the tin. When we came in from school, there was something to eat. And she made a pudding every night, which was amazing, really. Wonderful lady. Far more energetic than me, clearly. And she travelled from where we lived into the West End to work, strap hanging on the tube. Brilliant. However, the point I'm about to make is we didn't have a lot of money, so all my recipes say margarine because we always cooked with margarine. We could not afford to cook with butter. So we cooked this with margarine. We made the biscuits with margarine. We made the icing with margarine. If you want to use butter, please feel free to use butter. I never do because it's kind of not in my DNA to use butter. I mean, I do for certain things, shortbreads and things I do. But for these sorts of things where there's lots of other flavours, I use margarine because I always have. It's stock margarine. And that's what I've always done. Oh, there's an ice cream van if you want an ice cream, girls. So don't feel that you've got to use margarine. If you like butter, use butter. But that's the reason I don't, is because I never have. And it's how I was taught. So here we are. Go back to my other camera. I'm upside down. Oh, golly. I don't want to be upside down. That's a bit of a shock. So there we are. That's it. We used to use this to put in a Victoria sponge. On a Sunday afternoon, I'd make a sponge for tea, and just an ordinary 4 and 4 mixture with 2 eggs, and this would fill it nicely, and then you just with your sugar dredger, and then you just put some icing sugar on the top. But this will be lovely for these biscuits as well, I think. So that's what it looks like. Mix it all in. I'm just going to taste it. Tastes very nice. It's actually quite soft, softer than I want it to be. And I think I'm going to put a bit more chocolate in it up. And my oven's going for my biscuits, so I'm just going to stop you while I go and have a look at them. There's my biscuits. Can you see them? Beautifully golden brown. Very nice. I'll put those over there. There we are. I won't take them straight off the baking sheet because it'd be better to let them harden just slightly before you put them off the baking sheet. Because just in case some of them break, it's better. And in fact, one handy tip I've learned myself today is don't put your thumb with an oven glove in a biscuit because it will break it. That's what I did when I went to check them. Oh dear. So there's your mixture, ready to ice these together when they're cold. And as I say, you can use whatever you like in the way of buttercream. You can use coffee buttercream. You can use absolutely any flavour you like. I'll leave that entirely up to you. But these, they crisp quite quickly. They're okay to lift off now. I'm going to lift them off onto a cooling tray. When they're completely cold, I'm going to sandwich them together and serve them. Going to serve them tomorrow morning at Ukulele Group. So let's see if they like them. I hope they do. Mind you, they can always have a wagon wheel. Anyway, that's how they go. I'll show you when they're done. I'm not sure if you can see from this display here, but some of these are a different size. So as I said, what you do is you pick one up and you spread your whatever it is you're putting in them on one, and then you find one of a similar size and you put them together. And so it doesn't matter if they do, and they do come out different sizes, obviously, you're not going to measure them, but you'll just find as you're spreading your spread on, you think, oh, that one's about the right size, I'll put that one in. And there we are, that's how you do them. And then normally when they're plated up and ready to be presented to the assembled company, I normally sprinkle them with icing sugar because it just makes them look pretty. There's no need to, but it does make them look pretty. So that's what I do, but you can do whatever you wish. You can just completely ignore the fancy bit and just plonk them on a plate. Oh, that's a bit big. Plonk them on a plate if you like. There we are, that matches more or less. So, I'm sorry they're sweet and some of you can't eat them, but you are presumably used to life being unfair to you. I've run out of pears, but I have found one over here. Oh, excuse me, I've got sniffs for some reason. And then there's just two left to do. There's always chocolate left, however little or much you make, there's always some left. Very annoying. In fact, what I sometimes do is go back to the first ones because I find them quite mean with the first ones because you think, oh, I hope I've got enough. So you don't put very much in the first sort of 2 or 3, and then you gradually get more and more and more in them until you'll be incredibly generous by the end. And if you've got some left, you can always go back and shove some more in, take them apart and make them a bit thicker. So there they all are. There's that one. That's the last one. And I'm going to go back to these. A bit mean. Just put some more in. And that one. I think that was one of my first ones. Yeah, a bit more in there, and that's it, they're done. So again, quite quick. I do like things that are quite quick. If you get all your ingredients out and you get them all weighed out and get your kitchen ready, cooking is not a chore. It's particularly if you've got a new dishwasher to wash up afterwards, but if you get everything ready, you can do things quite quickly. And there we are, they cooled quickly, and you make the cream while they're in the oven. And then you put them, I'm trying to get this central and I'm not doing very well. I think it's a really easy tea time treat. I'm sure your family will like them. I hope you will as well. I hope you can eat them. I'm sorry if you have to give them up. I'm really sorry if you have to give them away. I know some of you do have to, and I'm really sorry about that. But there we are. That's it. Oh, this is me trying to look good on Zoom with the light ahead of me, the lights above me. Anyway, oat creams. I hope you enjoy them. Bye-bye.